thanks for joining me. So I want to talk to you about a serious topic, death and longevity. So you guys may know, I did 3 NFTs for longevity researchers, for Dr. Levin, Dr. Sinclair, and Dr. Fay. Now these 3 researchers are amazing, but there are hundreds of researchers out there that are equally as amazing, and I'm hoping that I can do more projects to raise more money for longevity research in the future. But you might not get why I'm so passionate about it, and you might be curious, like, why do you care, Adam? Well, because regenerative medicine has the potential to cure all diseases, not just living longer, healthier lives, but actually curing the ailments in our bodies. So if someone is suffering from cancer and their organs are failing, with regenerative medicine, you can build new organs. If someone is, has immune issues like myself and people I know, where our bodies are attacking themselves, so we're in like constant pain, Dr. Fay's research on the thymus has the potential to help reset that, to allow us to live happy, normal lives eventually, if the research pans out. But what's going on right now is super promising, and Dr. Sinclair's got so much cool stuff. You should check his book out. You should check his podcast out. I really can't go into detail on each of these people, and then still have time to talk about what I want to talk about today. So with that said, check those guys out. That was my first project. It was a success. We raised $41,000 for regenerative research regenerative medicine and longevity research. So I was super proud of that. That was one of the coolest things that I've done with my art. And I hope I can do it again, guys. So in the meantime, let's talk about why I'm so passionate about longevity and regenerative medicine. First off, as a teenager, I had what's called major depressive disorder, which later they found was a different disorder. But let's talk about that symptom of major depressive disorder. One of the things that happened is what's called suicidal ideation, which makes you constantly think about killing yourself. I know that sounds terrible, but it's true. People talk about people with depression having, suicidal thoughts. That's that suicidal ideation. That's that constant, I don't want to be here. I want to leave this. It's not that we don't want to live. It's that we don't want to live in that current state, and we don't see a way out because of the disorder, right? So that obsession with death for me started very young, and it wasn't transient. So even when I stopped being depressed, don't get me wrong, we all have cycles of where I suffer depression, and I feel down or whatnot, but I'm talking about like that pervasive, everyday, lasting for years. I don't tend to have that anymore, right? But the transient nature of depression and the transient nature of that ideation, it stayed with me. And I just couldn't ever shake it. I would go to bed. Since I'm a teenager, I go to bed, and what's the most comforting thought for me was of my body becoming stardust. And I'd imagine that, and like just everything going black and empty. And that allowed me the comfort to sleep, because I was insomniac too, but for some reason, just the idea of fading into nothing allowed all the anxiety and the repetitive thinking and the suicidal ideation, it just allowed it all to just kind of fade, and so I could go to sleep. And so I've just been obsessed with death since I'm a teenager, and I'm 40 years old now. Now I don't always do that anymore. My mental thinking has changed, but I still feel some of that sometimes, and I didn't like it, and it's never been necessarily comfortable. It's just been what it is. And so I found myself doing riskier and riskier activities because suicide is not really on the table for me personally. I don't have suicidal ideations anymore. I don't have them. I've been lucky enough that they're no longer a constant, background noise. They might crop up here and there, but it's not like always in my face. But I still like doing dangerous things though, because it allows you to flirt with the idea of death without actually experiencing it. So for example, I've gone surfing during a monsoon. I was in the military for 4 years. I've, hitchhiked across countries. I've done so many crazy things, like jumped out of an airplane, like if there's something that was risky, and my friends didn't want to do it, I probably would try. I'll do it, and I just go do it. And that's not something I'm proud of. It was just the nature of my personality, and that might fall also into being, a sensation-seeking personality that I have, because I'm trying to find a stimulus other than that obsession. Now, how did that lead to me all of a sudden wanting to live forever, right? Like, why would I all of a sudden want to be an immortalist and try to help everybody feel there's a car passing. Sorry about that. But for everyone to be healthier and living longer lives, you think I would, be a nihilist and like, oh, we're all gonna die, let's let it go, but no. I wanted to change my thinking, and the only way we can do that is to actively understand what we're thinking about and cognitively understand the processes behind it and try to channel it into a different activity. I'm really big on cognitive behavioral therapy, but one of my favorite people is this researcher. His name was Dr. Skinner. Not necessarily that he was the most ethical person, but he made some of the most groundbreaking discoveries in terms of behaviorism. And CBT, it was later incorporated into cognitive therapy in what's called CBT, which is probably one of the coolest breakthroughs in psychology. I'm a psych major, by the way. My BS is in psychology. Master's is in teaching English, just for a little background about me. Some kids playing. So with that said, let's get back to what I'm talking about. With that behaviorism, if we can change our behaviors, we can change our thinking. So my behavior was doing these risky things and always thinking about death. Well, what if I change my behavior to look at the potential to live longer? So that changes my thinking, because by looking at those projects and actively helping promote those projects, my thinking then has to change to look towards the future. Because that research isn't going to be now, it's going to be in the future. So any funding that I get now will be in the future. If I want to see that research come to fruition, I got to be here. And so I stopped thinking about death all the time by focusing on such a beautiful idea of helping people live healthier lives. There's many ways to do that. There's people going vegetarian. There's people, doing smoothies every day, working out every day. I chose to do it with my art because I'm an artist. And so while my art has elements of death in them, of course, they also have elements of regeneration, because everything's a cycle. Nothing lasts forever, and that's okay. It's okay to let things go, but we don't have to let them go forever. So you'll see that in some of my artworks. What I'll do is I'll burn an artwork, but then I'll use the ash and I'll mold it into a watercolor paint, and I'll put in the next artwork. So while that artwork's gone, it's still here. And I think that is beautiful. And I just love that, because that's what it's about. Regenerative medicine doesn't necessarily mean that we're here in this body. We might be replacing parts of this body. Maybe our consciousness will be transferred into electronics or something weird like that. Like all this science fiction is becoming a science reality. The idea that death could be cured was thought of to just be fantasy. But the human species has been searching for the immortality in the Philosopher's Stone for centuries. For centuries, people have been wanting to live longer. They've tried everything. And there was people also tried religion until that became like a hollow shell. It just wasn't what a lot of us thought it was. And well, religion can, the idea that our soul can live forever is a beautiful idea. It's a beautiful thought. But it's not absolute, because we don't know. However, if we can get to where we can live for it now in these physical forms, why do we need to tempt our soul? Why do we need to check it? Why can't we just enjoy the here and now and really appreciate what we have here and try to make this world a better place? And so that's why I'm passionate about longevity research. And while you'll see in my art, I'll paint old people all the time because I want to encapsulate them. I want to capture their memories and say, stop aging. Don't leave yet. I want to keep you here longer. And that's important. Keep people's memories here longer. The longer the memories remain, it's just a beautiful thing. Because if we look at things in the terms of the cosmic struggle of planets and everything else, we're a speck in the timeline of existence. And we're not going to be able to see the end of existence, I get that. And I get that everything we do really in the end won't matter because we'll return to dust. I get that. Someday we'll be there. But why not resist it? Why go gently? That great poem, don't go gently, into the night, don't die without a fight, I'm not saying we have to hurt each other, but why not struggle to make this world a better place through us being here? Because we're special and we have stuff like the knowledge to offer the next generation. When we take our old people and we stick them in a nursing home, absent of society, we are doing the absolute disservice to society because we think that they don't have anything new to offer us because they're old. Let them go over there to live out their last days, but that's not true. The matriarchs and patriarchs of our society have so much to offer us, especially the matriarchs. There's so much beauty and knowledge and wisdom Why let that go? Especially look at researchers, these groundbreaking researchers. The longer we can keep them here, the longer science can progress faster, which will then speed up the progression of the human species. So that is why I'm passionate about longevity. And I could talk about this for hours, guys. Hours, I'm telling you. But I know what I said is a lot. So I'll let that marinate a little bit. And maybe I'll do some more videos on this. But I hope that was enjoyable for you. I hope you got a little insight into my world and why I'm passionate about what I'm passionate about. Like, let's strive to make this world better, guys, through our art. Let's add beauty to it. And if not through art, through being good people. You know, kindness is a very cheap thing to offer. It costs you nothing. It's inexpensive. Just offering some kindness to those around us. You know, and if we can live here longer and be kind longer, the world's going to be more beautiful, guys. So thanks for joining me. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what I'm saying, if you like my ideas and my philosophy, do me a favor. Hit like, share, subscribe, and I'll do more of these videos, okay? Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. Let's enjoy that little sunset here. Let's check that out. There we go. It's beautiful, right? Good night, guys.